Sometimes things go wrong in pregnancy and you're unable to explain what could have happened. How much more when you see a pregnant woman who is obviously putting herself and her baby at risk? You're taking actions that are obviously risky as a pregnant woman. So if you're a pregnant woman in this 2025, ensure you're not doing any of these and you do not intend to do any of these things I'm going to mention in this video. Number one, for example, you're having headaches and the first thing that comes to mind is to ask your neighbor because you feel your neighbor was once pregnant, or you come online and you're asking it, what can I take for this headache? I'm unable to sleep. What can I take? As a pregnant woman, do not do that. Ensure your prescriptions are coming from your healthcare provider, the ones monitoring your pregnancy journey. Do not just take random things. If when it comes to medications, do not just take random things, recommendations from people because they've been pregnant before or they have kids, or you just come online and ask any random person to suggest something to you, especially when it comes to medications. Ensure all your medications, even to your prenatal vitamins, ensure they are coming from your healthcare provider, those monitoring your pregnancy journey. Number two, verify every information. I keep saying it. There are lots of things out there and people post things online for different reasons. So as much as you can, verify every information. For example, you hear things like, oh, folic acid causes autism in the baby. Or you hear things like, oh, if you have fibroid in pregnancy, do not take folic acid. These things are not correct. These things are not true. You see someone make a comment like that or make a post like that online, and all of a sudden you say, oh, I will not take folic acid in pregnancy. As much as you can, as a pregnant woman, you need to be very, very careful with the kind of information you take in. Verify every information you are absorbing, either online or offline. Another thing is copying someone else's prescription. For example, maybe you have hypertension in pregnancy and you know another mom who has hypertension in pregnancy. You just go and say, oh, what medications are you using for the hypertension you are battling with in your pregnancy? I want to go and get medications. Do not do that. Every pregnancy is different. Every medical condition is different, especially in pregnancy. So do not just go and grab someone else's prescription or just go and grab someone else's recommendations and start using it for your own self because you feel it's not hypertension in pregnancy. What's there? Let me use the same medication. No. Every prescription is designed for every pregnant woman for their own medical needs in pregnancy. Your pregnancy is not the same with the other person's pregnancy. Another point is some women are at risk of having big babies in pregnancy. And once a scan shows that the baby is big, or when their doctor tells them you're having a big baby, the next thing is to run to those people who sell agbo to go and get agbo that can reduce the size of the baby. You don't even know the risk you're putting yourself or your baby. I want to only point out one aspect in this regard. Every pregnant woman you see, every child that is growing in that tummy. For example, if you have a big baby, there's the size of the brain for that baby. You go on and go and start taking concussions, start taking herbal medications because you want to reduce the size of the baby. You're reducing the brain size. You're reducing a lot of things in that baby. And when complications set in, sometimes complications may be at birth, sometimes months after delivery, sometimes years after delivery. You may not be noticing certain things, maybe developmental wise, and you cannot even trace it to those things you took in pregnancy. Be careful out there. So if you are told you're going to have a big baby, the best thing is to know the mode of delivery that is going to be safe for you and your baby. Do not just run and just go and start consuming things, taking stuff because you want to reduce the size of your baby. By all means. Another thing is, a woman is in her third trimester, she goes for a scan, or she's close to delivery and she goes for a scan, and they tell her, oh, your baby hasn't turned, you may need to consider other modes of delivery, and all of a sudden you won't see her again in the hospital, only for her to come and tell you, oh, I was told to come to one place. I have one woman that they said this one will help me turn my baby so that my baby can now be in head down position. Except you want to risk your life, you want to risk your baby. Even when they want to turn a baby medically, maybe in the hospital, there are certain facilities that must be in place. There are certain things that must be in place. Even with all of these things being in place, complications can still arise. How much more when you just go to one random place and you're telling them to help you turn your baby? So if you're a pregnant woman in this 2025, ensure you're not doing any of these things, except you want to put yourself, your life, or your baby at risk. I hope this video is helpful and I hope to see you in the next video. Until then, bye.